Guys, it's Friday, and I want to share my thoughts on something with you guys, okay? Earlier this year, in March, I went to London with my daughter for her birthday. And we went to the British Museum, yeah? So, as naive as I was like, yeah, the British Museum, right? I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know how bad it was and the layers to how bad it was, okay? So, not only is that museum literally full of stolen stuff? That's besides the point. I was aware of that clearly. But do you know what I was not prepared for? The disrespect. The disrespect they put on anything non-white. Quite literally, if everything non-white was taken out of that museum, that fucking museum would be empty. That's one thing, okay? But the fact that as the British or the Germans or generally Europeans put respect on the name of dead people, right? Like, meaning you can't just go to a burial ground, you shout around, you play football, you go and have your fucking lunch there, right? You get the point, right? Common fucking sense. You want the dead to rest in peace, right? But that stops when we are talking about non-white people, particularly African people. Because tell me why the entire fuck we were... First and foremost, who hurt the British that they segregated Africa from Egypt? Because why is there a section when you enter that fucking museum, there's like a board where you can see, okay, Africa is downstairs and then Egypt is somewhere at the back, right? Like, have these people, geography is not really their thing? I don't fucking know. I know it has to do with the whitewashing of history and the whitewashing of Egyptian history generally. So by segregating it, that's Africa, that's Egypt. It's two different things, when in reality it's all the same thing, right? We know that. Either way, unfortunately, the Africa section was closed. Now looking back, I'm kind of grateful that it was. So we only went to see the Egypt section, right? So not only was there absolutely no respect for the literal dead bodies they stole from the African continent and put it in their fucking museum for the whole wide world to see, right? Then you see white people, like particularly when we went through that hall, they have a tomb there, like a casket, I don't know the correct name. No glass around it, no protection around it, no warning around it, nothing like, hey, this is somebody's resting place, right? Nothing like that. They just took it like that from Egypt and put it in their fucking museum. There's no dignity. There's nothing like, hey, this is someone's culture. This is someone's ancestor. This was someone's family member. Nah. Why? Right? Why? Not only that, the pure disrespect by just, have all these small cards where they write whatever you're looking at. They don't even give people the dignity to just explain who these people were. They literally just went to fucking Egypt, took dead bodies, put it in a museum, and were like, a man from 200 before Christ, a woman from 600 before Christ. No profession, no. If you don't know who these people are, don't you think you should probably leave them where they, were when you found them? No. They are literal mummies that I don't fucking know what I was thinking, but I wasn't thinking that it was that bad. They literally stole mummies from Egypt and put it in the museum like actual mummies, not like replicas. Not they were like, okay, we saw this in Egypt, let's replicate it so that we have something to show. No. They took these dead bodies, because let's just be fucking for real, this was someone's brother, sister, auntie, cousin, you get the point, and put it in their museum. And most of them are like some of them are like behind glass, like in giant glass boxes. And then they keep the culture there, they keep clothing, regalia, they keep different types of cultural items, and they write their nonsense, whatever they think is right now. And then when we walked through the big hall, there was 2 school classes, like primary school or something like that. They were pretty young children. They were running around, they were playing. No offense, yeah, kids are being kids. But there was nothing like, man, when you're walking into this hall, have some dignity, have some respect, because clearly there are spirits attached to these dead bodies. This was once someone that had an entire identity, culture, that had a purpose in their social setting, in their families. These were actual people that lived lives. Nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like that. And that ties me back to when I saw content about African American people talking about the African American History Museum in Washington, D.C., how they will go there to see things that their ancestors left, cultural stuff where their story is being told. I'm doing like this because it's being told from the eyes of whiteness, so it can never be accurate. And then you stand next to the very same people, the descendants of those that did what put you in that museum in the first place. That's why I think there should be segregated visiting times. Why the fuck are Africans or African Americans in the same rooms with the descendants of those people that were literally responsible or put their ancestors in these shackles, in the tombs, in those caskets, put them in that social settings or ended their life the way they did? And then you go to the museum and they make it a fucking Saturday trip. They take their fucking kids and do it all fun and games. Let's go and look at culture. No. That's not supposed to be like that. They are supposed to be segregated visiting times because this is fucking traumatic. This is fucking traumatic. Imagine going to a museum and knowing damn well that people that look like you went through all these things. And while you're literally in your trauma, while you're literally diving into the history and the culture of your people, not even culture, but the history of your people, and the trauma that was done to them, and the atrocious, inhuman things that were done to them, and while you're doing that, and while you're literally grieving, you see the fucking colonizer standing next to you, taking their damn kids on a Saturday trip to the museum. Where's the dignity? Where's the respect? Where is that room for grief for African Americans or Africans in general, that at least there is room given for grief? Because this, not only are they stolen items that are not supposed to be in these fucking museums to begin with, this is literally the death of so many people. And then you stand there and Sandra and Peter, they are just talking about, oh my God, look, this is Egypt and this is how they... Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. There should be safe spaces where people that have cultural ties to those artifacts in whatever way that may be can be alone in those rooms and grieve and actually soak in whatever reason they might have to go there, whatever their move might be, whatever their intention might be, to go there without being interrupted by the literal colonizer. And then people be like, oh, but everybody, yeah, you can have your fucking time to go and see the fucking artifacts in the fucking museum, but do that without the people present that are still suffering from the same system that put these people in this situation to begin with. How are you grieving your ancestors' history while the oppressor is in the room? And white people have no dignity. We have no dignity. We're not even like, maybe we should not. Maybe we should be a little bit more sensitive. Maybe we should have some more empathy. Nah. Why? We don't even teach our children to be fucking quiet in those museums when they're literally running around the tomb, eating their breakfast, drinking their iced tea, drinking their coffee, whatever they are drinking, while they're running around literal ancestors. You could never do that on a burial ground in Europe. They will ask you if you're entirely mad, if you have run insane, because they know that the dead deserve to rest in peace. But that only extends to white people, right? Okay.